So the topic of this video is risk management rules. These are general rules that I use to manage risk. So what is risk? Risk is the probability of losing money, how much money you will lose if a particular trade goes wrong. Now why possibility? Why a probability? If you are 100% in cash, you are not at risk of losing money. You won't lose money if you are not invested or exposed to risk. The moment you invest money or take a position, the possibility of losing money arises and then your capital is at risk. The average loss is not risk because you do not know how much you stand to lose on one particular trade. Some trades will lose more, some trades will lose less. It's only after the event that risk or return materializes. How do you deal with risk in investing or in trading? Limit the maximum amount that you stand to lose. This is achieved through position sizing. Know that your position size multiplied by the maximum loss that you are willing to take for a particular trade should be within acceptable limits. Now, what do I mean by acceptable? Know that if you lose 10% of your capital, it takes 11% gain to get back even. If you lose 25%, it takes 33% gain to break even. The higher your percentage of loss is, the more difficult it is to come back. Therefore, always have a defined risk. Losing money also has a psychological impact. Following a system in a disciplined manner greatly reduces the possibility that emotions might cause you harm. This is basically a very underrated topic because psychology plays a very big part in outcome, because emotions may make you do what is least beneficial for you. For example, after a losing streak, you may want to allocate a higher amount than appropriate to make good for the loss. This is also known as revenge trading. Your system should include variation in position sizing, which means that you trade your biggest when you make good money and trade your smallest or avoid trading when you are not trading well. Now there are four fundamental actions that you have almost full control over. Anything else, everything else you have to leave to the market. So what to buy, when to buy, how much to buy, and when to sell. These are in your control, and that's all you have to do, at least on the execution level. If your system has specific answers to these questions, you're on the right track. Now what to buy? Most of the traders spend most of their time only on this one single question. In this section there are some basic rules that I follow, and these must be present before I initiate a trade. A large majority of my trades must meet this criteria before I enter into them. Now there are some specific screens that I like to use, like the power play or the 3-week tight close, and I generally don't wander away from these universe of stocks because there are thousands of listed stocks and you must trade only the best. I want to be in a Ferrari when I'm invested, the stocks that have the highest probability of making the fastest moves. Now of course my criteria has defined parameters, one of which is there must be a definite trend in the stock. The 200-day moving average should be trending up preferably, and the price should be above 200-day moving average. I buy only when a stock meets my criteria and has set up properly. For me, a proper setup means a nice tight base with volatility contraction and preferably a shakeout. As long as I am nimble trader, my biggest advantage is being able to invest in small companies that have low free float or low market cap. Low float is a catalyst to fast moves. Since there are less value of shares available, big buyers like the institutions, when they want to accumulate the stock, tend to send the stock price rocketing because even to buy a reasonable stake in the company, the number of shares available are too less. The value of shares available are too less for their appetite. Although this does not mean that lower the better. If sufficient liquidity is not present, I will avoid, since the stock price is prone to manipulation. I look for average daily trading volume of at least 50 lakhs over the last 20 days to consider investing. The more the capital, higher should be the liquidity to avoid higher impact costs. And of course, I love to buy into a bubble. It is the best contrarian bet often, and with limited risk strategies, bubble offer huge reward to risk scenarios. Since everyone knows it is a bubble and that it will burst sometime, hardly anyone invests into it. Meanwhile, the stock price may keep surging. If I have a defined risk and the probability of making money is very high in a security which is often publicized as a bubble, Although I don't short because more or less shorting is not efficient in Indian markets. I would love to short a bust. Now below is just a bad poem that I wrote to add poetic feel to this video. The what to avoid list is even more important. These are some of my criteria. While most are self-explanatory, the one with obvious avoids might need further explaining. Also, I sometimes venture into low price stocks, but generally stocks which are above rupees 10. Below that, the minimum tick size is often too damaging. Now, there are stocks which you can avoid just by looking at the chart. Everything about them screams that they are highly likely to be manipulated. In the next slide, I will give you an example of such a stock. Look at this beautiful chart. I will not name the company and it's unlikely to show in my criteria. Now, it rose almost every day steadily with above average volumes. Now, the turkey was fed from 7th of May to 26th of June in 2020. I'm sure many of those who bought it must have started extrapolating those returns. 1% per day CAGR would mean that the investment would be worth over 10x in 1 year. The turkey was fat. Next trading day was Thanksgiving, on which day the turkey met its destiny. Over the next few weeks, the stock went from 220 to 65. Pretty obvious avoid if you ask me. Look at the price and volume action. It is so obvious that I'm at I'm at a lack of words. I'll let you ponder over this for some time. Now, when to buy? I want to buy at the lowest risk possible. All I can control is risk, so I'll try to buy as close to the stop as possible, the price at which I deem that the trade is a failure. Now, buying too early into a base leaves me open to shakeouts or prolonged exposure, which is unnecessary. My capital is at risk every moment that I'm invested. Now, another important criteria is the market condition. This comes with experience. Some markets are suitable for breakout trades, some for reversals, another kind for scalping. It's very unlikely that you will be master of all the trades, all the setups. So you have to know when your trades work and when they don't. In general, for trend followers, highly volatile markets are not good. The risk reward equation goes out of whack in such situations. However, as I said earlier, if your system has a criteria that you trade your biggest when you are trading the best and vice versa, then this problem is taken care of to an extent. Now, if I'm getting stopped out frequently, like out of last 10 trades, 8 were stopped out, I scale back partially or completely. I'm generally too wary of losing capital and I scale back fast when the market deteriorates. Now, how much to buy? Allocation is maybe the most important decision of all. It can make all the difference on the overall outcome of your portfolio. A small edge, repeated oftentimes, can make you a fortune. But for repeating that edge over and over, you should be in the game. If you lose substantial money initially, it will take a lot of time to make it back. Also, if you invest peanuts, even a multi-bagger will have little effect on your portfolio. Now, have a position size that makes it difficult for you to go bust even after a string of losses. Now, I change my allocation as per market conditions, but it is best for most to have it defined. These are some general rules that I follow, which are mentioned here, and you can go through them. When to sell? Now, selling is among the most difficult decisions as compared to the last three, primarily because of the psychology involved in it. You don't want to sell too soon or too late. It is very difficult to sell a stock that is up 60% in 3 days because of FOMO, fear of missing out. What if the stock goes higher after I sell? Equally difficult, or sometimes even more difficult, is selling a losing position. I love this company. What if the stock turns up right after I sell it? Last time that happened. What you should do is try to use backstops and make your trading as mechanical as possible. Let me assure you that you will rarely buy a stock at its lows or sell it at its highs. And it is okay because that is not needed to make money consistently. These are some of the instances where I sell stock or consider selling it. And those were my basic rules for managing risk. Each of them can, turn into an individual topic by itself. Maybe it will. So thanks for watching.